Stay focused. Stay focused. I might actually get the Rampage kill streak. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes! Yes! First Rampage kill streak I've ever gotten. That is the Percival and Lamorak for you guys. Absolutely insane. Hello everybody, this is Exotic Gaming here, and welcome back to another Pixel Gun 3D video. Prepare for some of the best gameplay you are ever going to see on my channel today, because the weapon we are looking at is absolutely, utterly insane. Welcome back to another episode of the week of Pixel Gun 3D, where every single day, other than yesterday, because I was flying home on a plane, but we're gonna forget about yesterday, I will upload a brand new Pixel Gun 3D video, all focused around the maxed out level 65 accounts that I temporarily have. Guys, I have exceptional gameplay in today's video, and if there was ever a YouTube video on my channel that you can show your support to, please do it today. If you are signed into a YouTube account, please hit that like button, show your support, and I will continue on making more and more episodes of Pixel Gun 3D. Subscribe to my channel for awesome more Pixel Gun 3D content coming out very, very soon. A lot sooner than you think. Literally tomorrow. Turn on post notifications. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So, the Percival and Lamorak is a melee weapon, but I wouldn't go as far to say that it really is a melee weapon. It's one of those weapons that you can't really tell which section it can even be in, because I'd actually maybe say that this could be more of a special weapon than a melee weapon. I mean, right off the bat, as you're seeing in the background here, the characteristic traits of this weapon is it's kind of like the pulling sucker gun in a way, and that's certainly not a melee weapon by any means. What you basically do is you hold down that firing button for a split second, and then this thing flies across the map at hyperspeed, and the person that you're trying to aim at will not be able to escape, because you're going at 600 miles an hour, and they're going at like 16. So, I mean, the thing is, this weapon is basically indestructible, okay? You cannot avoid this weapon at all, and I would go as far to say that this is the best melee weapon in this entire game. I don't know if I would go as far to say that it is the best melee weapon ever in Pixel Gun 3D, because that Stormhammer a couple of years ago certainly ran this weapon for its money. But it is certainly still one of the very best weapons in the melee section in the history of this game, because this weapon is actually many times a one-shot kill. Okay, because here's the thing, with melee weapons like this that don't have area damage, you can get that headshot on the enemy player. So if you hold down the charge all the way, you aim for the head, you hit the person, more than likely it's going to be a one-shot kill, unless the person has a lot of modules on and they just max out their armor to the absolute best that it can possibly be. Many times, as you'll see throughout this video, it's a one-shot kill. And the nice thing is, you're not going to necessarily die if you don't get that one-shot kill, because you can fly yourself around the map so unbelievably quickly that other people will not even be able to hit you. I mean, seriously, like, they could be using an assault rifle, you could be using the Percival and Lamorak, and you could half-charge it, right? And that maybe is a 3-shot kill, or even a 4-shot kill, but you could fling yourself forward at the enemy player, and then fling yourself back, and the person's flinging themselves around left and right, back, forward. They don't even know where the heck you are, because you're just flying at 600 miles an hour, and it's absolutely, unbelievably ridiculous, okay? Now, this weapon is part of a set in the Steel Division clan set, and it's crazy to think that this weapon is just in the Steel Division. I mean, come on. When are we going to get to the Godlike Division? What are those weapons going to be? But we're not talking about that in today's video. We're focusing on a weapon that is so unbelievably powerful, but it's still literally just in the Steel Division. How? I have absolutely no idea. Now, the charge is very quick as well with this Percival and Lamorak, and that's another great thing to know about this weapon. You know, there's other weapons that you really have to charge all the way if you even want it to be good. I mean, you're taking a look at something like the charged rifle, that sniper weapon that, you know, was actually really good a couple of years ago and then fell off, but now if you were to upgrade that thing to mythical, it's actually really good and you can get a one-shot headshot. Sorry. But it's still going to take a long time to charge that weapon all the way up, and then you're at a risk of not even hitting the enemy player because it's just a single shot and you have to be accurate when you're using that. This thing doesn't really matter. Melee weapons, so easy to use in Pixel Gun 3D that all you have to do is kind of aim in the general direction of where the other people are, and you're set. You're honestly set when you use this weapon. There really aren't many melee weapons in Pixel Gun 3D in 2020 that you can use the entire length of a match and then actually win. But this is one of those few ones that is. But as a trade-off, it's also the most annoying weapon in Pixel Gun 3D. The thing is, I hate the Percival and Lamorak, and I really wish this weapon didn't exist in this game, because this is not something we need in Pixel Gun 3D. It doesn't make sense based off of all the other types of weapons that we have in this game, and whenever somebody uses this, they don't actually have to be a very talented player in order to actually win. You just spam yourself all across the map, half charging yourself so you can fly at hyperspeed, and then you hit somebody before they even realize that you're there. I feel like if you're using a weapon where the other people can't even compete against you, you're not using a weapon that should be in the game. So something needs to be done about the Percival and Lamorak, because if Pixel Gun 3D keeps this weapon in the game like this, we are going to have a massive problem where it's just going to be a reverting back to the way the Ghost Lantern was in, what was it, 2016? Or the way the Stormhammer was in 2015, where there are like 700 weapons in Pixel Gun 3D, but anybody that gets this thing is only going to be using this thing, and none of the other weapons are even going to be given the time of day. I'm the type of person that likes Pixel Gun 3D where you can use all of the different weapons. Okay, yes, it costs an unbelievably large amount of money, and I hate that. I hate that this game is paid to win. But if you were to upgrade your weapons to mythical, they can all compete pretty well, and you can do well with things that are even at the lower tier, like the Ranger Rifle, for example. But with this thing, it's even better than everything else, and because of that, everybody's going to be using this. If somebody wants to level themselves up quickly, I mean, why would you use anything different? You're going to use this thing and maybe the Neutron Pulsator, and you're basically going to be invincible. So, take my video as a way of understanding that my gameplay is not something you should be getting in this game, okay? The only reason I'm using this the entire length of this video is because I have to make a video on it. But anyways, continuing on here. So when we talk about this weapon and the way that it looks, I have to say it looks really freaking cool. Honestly, you might even see me using this weapon a lot for my future YouTube thumbnails, just because, I mean, come on, it's like these little dagger things that you have on the ends of your weapons, of your arms, I should say, and it just looks cool. So the design is really, really nice, but as I said, this weapon is way too overpowered. Something needs to be done. So when you look at actually the Pixel Gun Wiki, which is something that I don't normally do when I actually do reviews on weapons, but since I only got about an hour or two of actual gameplay before I needed to make this video, this weapon is exceptionally good if you're using this in escorts, because when you actually die in your fort sieges, you can actually just spam this weapon and fly way faster than everybody else to get back to that tank. So, you know, other people might be using that rocket jump for whatever reason, and you can be like 5 times faster when you're using this thing. So that's really, really good. And speaking about some of the other things that you can actually do with this weapon here, in point capture and flag capture, it's also exceptionally good to use. Because say, for example, you're in flag capture in 2 castles, right? And you're sitting there trying to capture the flag in the enemy team, or actually maybe you're on a team that's way better than the other team, right? You go all the way across the map, you get the flag, you come back to your base, right? Then you can literally use the Percival and Lamorak, fly way faster than everybody else, get the flag, fly all the way back, and the person that's on the enemy team would not even realize that you were even there. So, I mean, seriously, this weapon is probably going to be the very best weapon for points capture or flag capture. There's really not anything else that I could say is even better to use in that scenario. I would honestly say that it's maybe best to use this with one other weapon, accompanying it. So what you can do is maybe you're in like War of Toys or Candyland or something like that, right? And you use this weapon, you charge it almost, you hit the person doesn't die. Okay, just take out your primary weapon or your heavy weapon or something like that, finish off the person. Because I can guarantee when you're using this Percival and Lamorak and you almost kill the enemy player, all it takes is one heavy shot to the enemy and they're done. And you can actually kill every single person that you come in contact with. It's crazy though, because like with this weapon, you're almost invincible, okay? The second you get yourself into a hairy situation and some enemy, you know, is almost about to kill you, you can just spam that firing button. I guess it's a firing button. I don't know. It's a melee weapon. It's kind of like a slicing button in any way, but you can just escape from anybody, and it's so easy to avoid any bad situation you could be in when you're using this weapon. It's really kind of crazy. Now this weapon, of course, is going to be doing its best and highest power at some of the flatter maps in Pixel Gun 3D. You know, I wouldn't go as far to say that this weapon would be that great for North Pole, for example. North Pole is one of those maps where there are a lot of people above you and below you, and there's things that are in the way that block this weapon from flying across the map. But if you were to go into Train Robbery or Pool Party or Silent School, where a lot of the map is completely flat, this weapon will shine, and it will shine far above any other enemy player. So far that somebody that's using some newbie one-shot area damage weapon might actually fall victim to you more than you to them. You might actually beat somebody if they're using a one-shot kill area damage weapon. They could have level 8 modules. I think level 8 is the highest. I'm not 100% sure. Or level 9, something like that. Maybe like level 10. Let's just say level 10 is the highest you can get for your modules. They might have all level 10 modules on the corn launcher, max that thing out to the best it can possibly be, and the Percival and Lamorak might actually do better than it. So keep that in mind. It is really, really good. And honestly, if you're really looking for a melee weapon that's going to do more damage than any of the other ones, this might be the one. So I don't really have that much else I could possibly say about the Percival and Lamorak. In the background is one of the few times you're going to see me using this weapon. There is one other video coming out this week that I actually use this weapon again. So you can stay tuned for that and see even better gameplay than the gameplay you're seeing in this video. But other than that, I'm really not going to be using the Percival and Lamorak too much. I never like the super OP weapons in Pixel Gun 3D, and I really hope, after many years of watching my videos, you guys can say the same as well. I'm always the type of person that likes to use a more skill-based weapon. Like if I'm in the backup section, I would choose the werewolf, for example. That's something that doesn't have area damage. You have to be accurate, get those headshots, and if you do, you're actually using a very powerful weapon. And, for example, if I'm in my heavy section, I would use the Dragon's Breath, maxed out to Mythical. That would be awesome. You have to be accurate when you're using it. You can't just use area damage with that thing, but you can actually get better at the game when you're using that. I always like to use weapons that slowly make me better at Pixel Gun 3D, and usually the primary weapons are the way to go. This one, on the other hand, is not one of those weapons. So every once in a while, you can use this thing. Maybe you can use this thing alongside some other weapons, and maybe use your primary weapon or your heavy weapon as your main weapon of choice. And then if you get yourself into a bad situation, like where there's 4 people on either side of you, you can just use this thing to quickly make yourself get away from all of the fighting, and then you can actually pick the person off from longer range with a primary weapon, for example. So keep your distance when you're using this thing. Don't get too close, okay? You want to make sure that you can actually use this weapon in a more skilled way and use this alongside other weapons, and that way you can have your best possible scenario in Pixel Gun 3D when you're using this weapon. I don't really have much else I could possibly say, though. I mean, you guys can see from the gameplay that this weapon is no joke. You will get fantastic gameplay with this, better gameplay than you will basically ever get. As you can see from my video, I am getting exceptional gameplay, exceptional kills. It is ridiculous. Just please, for the love of God, for the sanity of all Pixel Gun 3D players, do not use this weapon too much. Otherwise, that's basically it for today's video. If you have not checked out some of the other videos that I posted just a few days ago regarding the week of Pixel Gun 3D, you definitely want to do so. I will have the entire playlist linked down below in the description. You want to watch all of them because every single one of these videos kind of goes hand in hand with one another, all based around this level 65 maxed out account that I have in this game. Other than that though, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next videos coming out in just a few days, and that is it. I'll see you guys later.